Well, tracking, I'm going to say, is the first science. There was a time when people didn't track. And, it was probably in Africa. And if you were down at the water hole, it wasn't so hard to find an animal. You didn't have to worry about tracking. And if you speared some sort of an animal, you somewhat open-velled, watched where it ran, and followed behind it. If you lost it, oh well, so what? And you went back, and the water hole speared something else. Didn't take much tracking there. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't tracking in Africa, but it didn't take much then. But eventually people moved out of Africa, and they ran into two things that they'd never really had to deal with: snow and wolves. Now, in the snow, you could make up for this thing called scarcity. At the water hole, food wasn't scarce, but in North America, there were at least seasonal times of scarcity. And so people could track to where they got an animal, or if an animal was wounded, they could follow where it went. And then they came across this creature called a wolf. And the wolf had already set up this deal with humans. It said, hey, you and I like the same thing to eat. I'll help you if you'll throw me a few pieces of food around your camp. But if any intruder comes along, I'll bark and alert you to him, and I'll help you follow game. And so now with snow and following game, that meant tracking was important. And the first trackers were scientists. They tested hypotheses. They didn't have fancy words for it like we do, but they tested it with their lives.